too. So we gave him a beret or a hat or whatever. And we all went to Chinatown with him holding his TV. We never saw him again. I don't even know if we knew his name. But New York's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And I love it. And crazy is not mentally ill.
No.
I'm crazy, but I'm not mentally ill. I was mentally ill when I was with my husband.
Crazy's good. Crazy's interesting. It's exciting. Mentally ill. A lot of people are mentally ill, and they everybody thinks that they're normal because they just do boring things all day.
Yeah, like who's really mentally ill? Maybe the bankers sitting with their papers and then stealing from us and thinking they're patriotic.
Yeah, that's mentally ill. So if you went back to New York today, is there a certain place that you would go to?
I wouldn't go unless I had a lot of money.
Where would you go? Like, what would be the first place you'd go?
First, I would rent a loft.
A loft?
I lived in a loft in Chinatown.
In Chinatown?
I was brought up. My grandmother.
Well, that's why you wanted to be Chinese.
My grandmother came from Russia. And she and her husband, who was a chiropractor, and in those days nobody was chiropractor, but he was also a biochemist. And they bought a building in Chinatown, and they lived on the second floor and the third floor. They lived on 2 floors, which were lofts, and I loved to be there. And I used to sit at my window and watch the train going by, which was that far. I could look at people's faces going by, and I loved it.
Nice.
And
so that's probably one of the biggest draws was the people. You like people.
Yeah.
And the diversity. All different types and cultures. But you have to have a lot of money to live in New York, right?
Nowadays, yes.
Yeah.
My sister told me a studio was going for $3,000. My daughter lived there 15 years ago, and she was paying $1,500 for a studio apartment.
So who got the building when your grandparents passed away?
Her son, one of her sons, went into the Navy, so he couldn't inherit the building when she died because he didn't work, he didn't hold the store together.
Oh, it was a store.
He had a store underneath the building. And another son designed airplanes for World War II, and he didn't work in the store, so he couldn't inherit it. And this one son was 4F. So he held the store together, so he inherited the building, which was $350,000 when my grandmother died. And he and his wife were both went on Social Security, and he was so worried because now he wasn't earning money anymore.
Well, the taxes must be incredible on a property like that. Taxes must be...
I don't know. I know clothes are cheaper in New York than they are anywhere else. Rents are high.
Yeah, rents are stupid unless you have, what is it called? Rental protection or...
Well, if you're living in, what is it called? I don't remember. There were buildings during the war?
Bedford-Stuy, right? Didn't they have like control? Section 8?
No, they weren't Section 8, but there was some kind of law that they couldn't raise their rent. And nowadays, people are still paying like $150 for a 3-bedroom apartment. But it's because they're in one of these buildings.
One of these special buildings.
Yeah, which were beautiful.
I don't understand how these immigrants that come over from like Latin America, where do they live? How do they live there? They must live in like really terrible pits.
They live like 6 families in an apartment, which is correct. What they're doing now is disgusting. When I was a child, there was no such thing as homelessness.
Right.
Nobody had jobs.
Right.
But everybody had a place to sleep.
Everybody slept on like a little couch or the floor.
Our house was, everybody was on the floor all over our house.
Really?
Our apartment. And nowadays, everybody's homeless because you cannot live with your daughter or your son unless you're on the lease. It's disgusting.
Oh, I see.
I believe they keep saying they're investigating homelessness. If they didn't have this rule that you couldn't live with other people, they wouldn't deal with this homelessness.
Gotcha, right. And there's more vacancies today in empty buildings and apartments than ever before.
And you know also, the people who own them, it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
They're making more money because they're not renting them. And that's disgusting also. And then they talk about patriotism.
So do you think that we should go to more like a socialist or even
I
communist?
hate to give it names because the media has ripped us off
But
with
private
their
property,
names. Yeah.
private property is not the ultimate end-all
I don't know
be-all.
what the answer is, except I know people have to care more and stop being so grabby.
It's not a political solution. The problem is more of a social problem as opposed to a political.
Like, you know, what a friend once said to me, she was talking at Bush, and she said, they're all a bunch of communists. Bush! And I said, boy, have you been brainwashed? And she never spoke to me again.
Yeah, because she doesn't understand the meaning of the word. For her, communist is just a bad thing. It's not, she doesn't know what it means. Well, Miss Gang, thank you for the conversation. We'll talk later, our next conversation. Have any last messages for the viewers?
Wake up.
Wake up. Okay. I'm going to grab some coffee.